Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. So welcome to the Bhagavad Gita thematic course. We have been studying thematically the introduction essay of Srila Prabhupada to the Bhagavad Gita. And within that essay, we are also going through various philosophical definitions which help us to study Bhagavad Gita. So we have completed all these themes and we are on this theme, process given by Bhagavad Gita for attaining the abode of life. And in that we saw the Lord suggests how we attain through this verse, Nirmana Moha Jita Sangha Dosha. And Nirmana Moha means realizing, that we are not these bodies, our identity. As long as we have designations, I'm a man, I'm a woman, you know. But if we don't, even if you say that I'm a spirit soul, that's not, going to serve as long as uh, you are saying from that realized state of you being a spirit soul. So I hope, it makes sense what I'm trying to say. So, as long as this is there, there is no possibility of returning to the kingdom of the Supreme, the Sanatan Dham. That's what Prabhupada says. So, this is where we had ended, our last class. So, today we'll have a short class, maybe around 45 minutes. And then another class will require to complete this. So, now Prabhupada quotes another verse how we can attain the Lord's abode. And Prabhupada quotes 8.21. Avyakto uktah tamaho paramam gatim yam prapya na nivartante tadhama paramam mama. Avyakta means unmanifested. Not even all the material world is manifested for us. Our senses are so imperfect that we cannot see all the stars within this material universe. In Vedic literature, we can receive much information about all the planets and we can believe it or not believe it. So, not all the stars to our eyes are, able to see. Only some uh, illumination you see, but you cannot see what really, these different nakshatras are. We cannot understand. All of the important planets are described in the Vedic literatures, especially Srimad Bhagavatam, and the spiritual world, which is beyond this material world, is described as avyakta, unmanifested. So, unmanifested, it is beyond the range of the senses. It is spiritual, it is transcendental, beyond the material world. Prabhupada says one should desire and hanker after that spiritual supreme kingdom. For when one attains that kingdom, he does not have to return to this material world. Yam prapya na nivartante tad dhama paramam mama. Next, one may raise a question of how one goes about approaching the abode of the Supreme Lord. Information of this is given in the 8th chapter. It is said. So, how one should approach that Lord? Antakale cha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram yah prayati samadbhavam yatinastyatra samshaya. And whoever at the end of his life, this his life, quits his body, remembering me alone at once attains my nature. Of this there is no doubt. So this is the way, ultimately, how one can attain the Lord's abode by remembering the Lord at the time of death. One who thinks of Krishna. Now, please don't think it is easy and light to think about Krishna at the time of death. You know, so as long as throughout one's life one has not practiced Krishna consciousness very deeply, and throughout the day he's not Krishna consciousness, then it is not easy at the time of death. So there is a Bengali proverb which Prabhupada also used to quote: Sadhan kaila, bhajan kaila, marta janla hoy. Whether one has performed a sadhana and bhajan, how one will come to know? When? At the time of death. So if that the time of death, if one is able to remember Krishna, That means throughout his life he has done bhajan. So, in order to remember Krishna at the time of death, throughout our life, throughout our day and night, we should remember Krishna. We should think about Krishna. One must remember the form of Krishna. If he quits his body thinking of this form, he surely approaches the spiritual. So, one should, you know, we all have experience whom we love. Whom, moment we take their name and our eyes close, the form appears in the mind's image. So similarly, we should have developed that much love for Krishna that moment we take his name, the form appears in the mind. Madhbhavam refers to the supreme nature of the supreme being. The supreme being is Sachidanand Vigraha, that is, his form is eternal, full of knowledge and bliss. Our present body is not Sachidanand, it is Asat, not Sat. It is not eternal, it is perishable. It is not Chit, full of knowledge, but it is full of ignorance. We have no knowledge of the spiritual kingdom, nor do we have perfect knowledge of this material world where there are so many things unknown to us. The body is also Niranand. Instead of being full of bliss, it is full of misery. We have to have this, experience this, reality. And sometimes we don't accept the reality. So we have to understand this body is Niranand. It is not going to give me pleasure. And somehow, because of the illusion of Maya, somehow Maya makes us think, Maya means the mind makes us think that even in old age, I will enjoy a little bit. Maybe I'll enjoy through the tongue or through the eyes seeing beautiful form of a woman. So this deep seated desire to enjoy sense objects is very much there. But we have to understand this, yahi samsparsha jab hoga, dukkha na evate. When the moment you try to enjoy anything in this material world, it becomes a source of misery. You impregnate, you know, you impregnate the child of misery. All the miseries we experience in the material world arise from the body, but one who leaves this body thinking of Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, at once attains the Satchidananda body. The process of quitting this body and getting another body in the material world is also organized. A man dies after it has been decided what form of body he will have in the next life. Karmana Daiva Netrena. Prabhupada says this higher authorities refers to Daiva. Not the living entity itself makes this decision. According to our activities in this life, we either rise or sink. This life is a preparation for the next life. If we can prepare, therefore, in this life to get opportunity to the kingdom of God, then surely after quitting this material body, we will attain a spiritual body just like the Lord. So just like the Lord, we will attain a spiritual body. As explained before, there are different kinds of transcendentalists, the Brahmavadis, Paramatmavadi, and devotee. So Gyanis, Yogis, and Bhaktas. As mentioned, in the Brahmajyoti spiritual sky, there are innumerable spiritual planets. The number of these planets is far, far greater than all the planets of this material world. This material world has been approximated only as one quarter of the creation. Ekam Shena Sthito Jagat. So, in the second canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, also it will come up. There is the Ekapada Vibhuti and the Three Pada Vibhuti. The spiritual world is three-fourth, and the material world is only just one-fourth. Ekam Shina Sito Jagat. In this material segment, there are millions and billions of universes with trillions of planets and suns and stars and moons. Just imagine how vast is the material world itself, which is just one-fourth. And you can imagine what must be three-fourth. But this whole material creation is only a fragment of the total creation. Most of the creation is in the spiritual sky. So Prabhupada is using the term creation in a sense that, actually the spiritual world is not created, it eternally exists. But just, in the terms of usage he is using. because that is how we understand in language. But the spiritual world is eternal and it is existing eternally. One who desires to merge into the existence of the Supreme Brahman is at once transferred to the Brahmajyoti of the Supreme Lord and thus attains the spiritual sky. The devotee who wants to enjoy the association of the Lord enters into the Vaikuntha planets, which are innumerable, and the Supreme Lord, by his plenary expansions, as Narayan with four hands and with different names like Pradyumna, Anirudh, and Govinda associate with him there. Therefore, at the end of life, the transcendentalist thinks either of Brahma Jyoti, the Paramatma, or the Supreme Personality Godhead, Sri Krishna. So, all three, Brahman, Brahmavadis, Paramamatvis, and devotees attain. Uh, but devotees not only attain Brahmajyoti, but they enter into the Brahmajyoti and enter into the Vaikuntha planets to have a reciprocal relationship with Krishna in any of his forms, like Vasudeva, Sankarshana, Niruddha, Pradyumna, Hari, Jagannivasa, so many names, all we saw and discussed during the Godrun Dham retreat. In all cases, they enter the spiritual sky. So, all these cases, whether he is a Brahmavadi, Paramatmavadi, or a Bhakta, they all enter the spiritual sky. But only the devotee or he who is in personal touch with the Supreme Lord enters into the Vaikuntha planets or the Golok Vrindavan planet. The Lord further adds that of this, there is no doubt. This must be firmly believed. Now, this is our problem that, when Lord Krishna is saying, of this there is no doubt, na atra samshaya, you will come to me if you think about me. But why we don't seriously practice this? Because one thing, that desire itself is not there first. Secondly, that hankering is not there. Thirdly, there are doubts, we don't actually have full faith in Krishna's servant statements. Otherwise, we would be jumping and dancing. If you're going to Vaikuntha, now how fortunate if somebody goes to, so-called, explorations in the space and they come back, how many people are waiting, and so much glorification. So if a devotee is going to the spiritual world, then imagine how much enthusiasm he should be having. So we don't have that kind of firm faith. We should not reject that which does not tally our imagination. Our attitude should be that of Arjuna. I believe everything that you said. Sarvam etad ritam manne yanma vadasi Keshava. So that should be our attitude. Therefore, when the Lord says that at the time of death, whoever thinks of him as Brahman or Paramatma or as the personality God certainly enters into the spiritual sky, there is no doubt about it. There is no question of disbelieving it. You cannot disbelieve it also. You have to believe statements of Krishna. Okay. I think this is a major section here, and I will cover some more slides and ask if you have any questions also you can raise in between your but I will ask questions and then we will take up those questions also. Okay, so let's go ahead. The Bhagavad Gita 8.6 also explains the general principle that makes it possible to enter the spiritual kingdom simply by thinking of the Supreme at the time of death. So just by thinking, and please remember, thinking is not so easy, especially at the time of death, as long as throughout your life you have not practiced. So Prabhupada quotes this general principle. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tajante ante kalevaram tam tam eveti kaunteya sada tad bhava bhavita. What a state of being one remembers when he quits his present body. In his next life, he will attain to that state without fail. Now, first we must understand that material nature is a display of one of the energies of the Lord. It's a Bhairanga Shakti of the Lord. So now Prabhupada quotes that verse. In the Vishnu Puran, the total energies of the Supreme Lord are delineated. Vishnu Shakti Para Prokta Kshetragyakya Yata Para avidya karma samgyanya tritiya shaktirishyate. The Supreme Lord has diverse and innumerable energies which are beyond our conception. So, how many divisions, how many energies does Krishna has? Anyone knows? How many energies? Anyone knows? Govindanandini Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji Dhammatrama.
Yes.
Samvit, Samvit Sandhiti and Ladini.
Okay. They are part of the Chit potency, Mataji.
Okay.
How many energies does the Supreme Lord possess?
No idea, Prabhuji.
Okay. So, this is some basic, very understanding which devotees should. The Supreme Lord possesses unlimited energies, which
Hmm.
are principally divided into three. Which are principally divided into three. One is called as uh, the Antaranga Shakti, the internal potency. The other is called as the external potency, the Bairanga Shakti. And another one is called as the Jiva Shakti or the Tatastha Shakti. So there are again innumerable divisions in this, but principally there are these three. And as you were mentioning, Govindandani Mataji, the Samvit Shakti, Ladini Shakti, and the Samdini potency, they are part of the Chitta Shakti or the internal potency. And there are many, many unlimited energies which are all operating in the spiritual world. There are infinite actually. Hmm. So, here in this verse, which Prabhupada is quoting, Vishnu Shakti Paraprokta. The Vishnu's energies, you know, they are, unlimited. But the learned sages or liberated souls have studied these energies and analyzed them in three parts. And one is what? One is para, transcendental. And there is the Kshetragya. Kshetragya is the Jiva Shakti or the Tatastha Shakti. And the third is the Avidya Karma, Samyaya. That is the uh, Bhairanga Shakti. You know, Chit, Achit, and Jiva Shakti also. These are the divisions sometimes they are taken. The Chit Shakti is the spiritual energy, the Achit Shakti is the material energy, and the Jiva Shakti is the Jiva Shakti. So, primary, there are innumerable energies which are beyond our conception, but sages have analyzed them into three. Okay. Of all of the energies are of Vishnu Shakti. That is to say, there are different potencies of Lord Vishnu. The first energy is para, transcendental. That is the Chit Shakti, spiritual. Living entities also belong to the superior energy, as already explained. So, Kshetragya Tata Para. So, where is the living entity explained as Para Shakti of the Lord? Although it is a Tatastha Shakti, it is a Jiva Shakti, where it is explained that it is Para, in which verse of the Bhagavad Gita? Who knows? Raise your hands. Where the living entities are belong to the superior energy in the Bhagavad Gita, Para, no? The Kshetragya, where it is mentioned. Who knows? Who will answer this? Chakrama Prabhuji.
10.9?
10.9.
7.9.
7.9.
Yes, I am the original fragrance of the earth. I am heat in the
No,
fire.
but
I am
where is
light of all
where is the
liquids.
living entity there?
Yes, yes, true.
Where is the living entity mentioned as superior? It is 7.5. 7.5. Aparestu itam anya prakritim vidyam me para jiva bhuta. So that is 7.5. So you can mark here as explained. So this will be Bhagavad Gita 7.5. You can mark in your books. The other energies or material energies are in the mode of ignorance. Avidya. Avidya karma is in the mode of ignorance. At the time of death, either we can remain in the inferior energy of this material world or we can transfer to the energy of the spiritual world. And Prabhupada again quotes Yam Yam Vapi Smaran Bhavam Tajantante Kalevaram Tam Tam Eveti Kaunteya Sada Tat Bhava Bhavita. In life, we are accustomed to thinking either of material or of the spiritual energy. Now, how can we transfer our thoughts from the material to the spiritual energy? So, Prabhupada is logically building up the train of thoughts that ultimately we have to think of Krishna at the time of death. There are different energies, and our thoughts are energies in one sense. If you are thinking material thoughts, then you are in the Bhairanga Shakti. If you are having spiritual thoughts, you are in the Antaranga Shakti. So, how to transfer that thoughts from spiritual to material? Prabhupada is giving a very simple solution. There are so many literatures which fill our thoughts with the material energy, newspaper, magazines, novels. Our thinking, which is now absorbed in these literatures, must be transferred to Vedic literatures. That means constantly absorbing our mind, our thoughts in reading Vedic literatures. The great sages, therefore, have written many Vedic literatures such as Puranas. The Puranas are not imaginative, they are historical records. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, there is the following verse Maya Mugdha Jiva Nahi Swata Krishna Gyan Jivera Kripa Kaila Krishna Veda Puran. The forgetful living entities or conditioned souls have forgotten their relationship with the Supreme Lord and they are engrossed in thinking of material activities. Just to transfer their thinking power to the spiritual sky, Krishnadapa Vyas has given a great number of Vedic literatures. First, he divided the Vedas into four, then he explained them in the Puranas, and for the less capable people, he wrote the Mahabharata. In the Mahabharata, there is given the Bhagavad Gita, then all the Vedic literature is summarized in the Vedanta Sutra, and for future guidance, he gave a natural commentation on the Vedanta Sutra called Srimad Bhagavatam. Prabhupada says, we must always engage our minds in reading these Vedic literatures. So, if we don't engage our mind in reading these Vedic literatures, then our thoughts will not be transferred in the spiritual energy. And at the time of death, we will not be able to think of Krishna. Please take this statement very, very seriously. Huh? Just as the materialists engage their minds in reading newspapers, magazines, and so many materialistic literatures, we must transfer our readings to these literatures which are given to us by Vyasadeva. In that way, it is possible for us to remember the Supreme Lord at the time of death. So, what is the methodology by which we can remember Krishna at the time of death? Who will answer? Lokapalika Mataji, are you there?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Oh, Ashokatma Prabhu, this
Yeah.
is
It's my
okay.
wife, name has been there, Prabhu. That's why I continued.
Okay.
Prabhu, your question, Prabhu, once again.
Uh, how it is possible for us to remember Krishna at the time of death?
Constantly be in devotional service and every day
What does Prabhupada say?
practice chanting.
What is he saying here? Please read this statement.
We must transfer our reading to these literatures which are given to us by Vyasadeva. In that way, it will be possible for us to remember the Supreme Lord at the time of the Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya.
We should constantly be studying Vedic literatures.
Yes.
That means for us it is, all proper small books and especially Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita.
Yes.
And after that, there are so many other books, you can spend your entire lifetime. There's so much.
Correct.
So this is very important. This is the only way, huh?
Yes, bro.
Prabhupada says this is the only way. See, I just made this statement and this statement is here. Suggested by the Lord. Tasmat Sarveshu, and he guarantees the result. There is no doubt about it. Tasmat Sarveshu Kaleshu. Mam Anusmara Yuddhacha Mayi Arpit Manobuddhir Mam Evashasi Asamshaya.
Assumption.
There is no doubt about it. Therefore, O Arjuna, therefore, Arjuna, you should always think of me in the form of Krishna and at the same time continue your prescribed duty of fighting. With your activities dedicated to me and your mind and intelligence fixed on me, you will attain me without doubt. Without doubt, you will attain me. So, this is the only way. So, any questions you have up till now? Any questions, any clarifications? Uh, I would not like to hurry up and try to finish the remaining part. Tomorrow we will meet again, and maybe in half an hour, 45 minutes, we'll finish the remaining part, and that's how we complete this entire syllabus. But any questions for now you have? Any questions, any clarifications? Okay, so then we will stop now. We have another 20 slides to be completed. So tomorrow, short class, half an hour to 40 minutes, half an hour maximum, we will take and we will complete this whole discussion. And that will complete our syllabus for the thematic course on Bhagavad Gita. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव दिव्यंद की जय. श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की जय. हरे कृष्ण.